Hey guys, today we'll be covering a 2021 drama film called American Girl. The movie opens up in Taiwan's airport where a mother, Lily, brings her young daughters Fen and Anne back from the USA. She is doing so because she is suffering from breast cancer and doesn't want her daughters to be alone in the US. Outside the airport, her husband Huai is waiting for them while listening to the news of the SARS outbreak. The news states that the disease is spreading rapidly and several workers are getting ill because of it. Soon, Lily and her daughters come out of the airport and Huai notices them from afar. They meet and return back home in his car. On their way back, Fen seems upset having left her best friend Jessie in LA and is missing her badly. Shortly after, they reach home and Lily finds the apartment's condition a mess. She asks Huai about what he has done to the house, but he makes an excuse that he also recently returned from China and didn't get much time to clean the house. As soon as Fen enters the house, she rushes to the computer to chat with her friends, but her mother scolds her to go to bed as it is already late. Fen then goes to her room where she notices her uniform for the new school. She gets sad after she discovers she has to cut her long hair for school. After everyone sleeps, Fen again tries to use the internet, but can't get a connection. The next day, Lily, joined by her husband, goes for her checkup and finds that her lumps in her breast have increased in size. Dr. Han suggests that she should have surgery immediately to remove the lumps, but Lily seems skeptical about it because she wants her daughters to get used to the new place first. The scene then shifts to Fen's new school where her father is trying to make her happy by telling her that she still looks pretty in her short hair. Inside the school, Fen meets with her teacher Miss Sue, who provides her with new textbooks and also informs her to get ready for daily tests. Later, Fen is copying something from the board but cannot finish it before the teacher erases it. Seeing her struggle to complete her work, a nearby student, Ting, provides her with her notes. After class, Ting and Fen meet up and it turns out they were childhood friends before Fen moved to the USA. Next, Lily can be seen lying in a hospital bed after her surgery. Despite her condition, she only thinks about her daughters and discusses with her husband her desire to provide a better home for them to live in. Back at home, Fen is helping her mother wash herself when she asks her about returning to the USA. Lily replies that she should be with their father and also mentions that she may not live long. Hearing this, Fen gets angry and storms out of the bathroom. After dinner, Fen and Anne are doing the dishes when they hear their parents fighting, and Huai asks Lily to be optimistic about her condition. The next day, Lily goes to the hospital for a chemotherapy session, while Huai goes to work. During his break, Huai can be seen reading a self-help book about coping when loved ones are suffering from cancer. Returning from work, Huai brings home the bicycle that Fen was asking for the day before. Later on, Fen and Ting are hanging out in a comic book store. There, Ting expresses her desire to speak English like Fen, while Fen blames her mother for bringing her back to Taiwan. Fen is angry with her mother, not knowing that she is actually doing all of this for a better future for her. After that, Fen takes her friend Ting to her home, and the two start talking. Ting is surprised to see the sketches of horses all over Fen's room and asks her about it. Fen replies that she is obsessed with horses and that she loves riding them. Meanwhile, Anne arrives at the door and rings the bell, as she has again forgotten her keys. Irritated, Fen does not open the door, punishing Anne for her forgetful behavior. As Anne rings the doorbell incessantly, Fen disconnects the doorbell. Soon, Ting leaves while Anne is still locked outside. Later in the evening, Lily returns from the market and has a hard time climbing the stairs with the bags. She reaches the house to find that Anne has been locked outside the whole day and that Fen cannot hear the bell ring. Lily tries to make Fen understand that locking her sister outside is not good, but Fen is in no mood to listen to her. At school during computer class, Fen and Ting search for a nearby horse riding place so that one day they can enjoy time with the horses. Late at night, Huai tells Lily that he has to go to China for work. Lily asks him if someone else can go for him, but he replies that there's nothing he can do about it. Next, Fen is doing her homework and we notice that her grades are not so good. She tries to copy her parents' signature so that she won't have to show them the report card. The next day, Huai takes Fen to get a study desk. While they're inside the furniture showroom, he tries to tell Fen that she should be nice to her mother and care for her, but Fen has her own reasons to hate her. Even though they had come there to buy a desk, Fen chooses an expensive dressing table and expresses her desire to return back to the USA. When the furniture arrives at home, it is revealed that Huai bought the dressing table for Fen, despite their miserable economic condition. Upon seeing this, Lily gets enraged and shouts at Huai. The next morning, Huai leaves for China and Fen is the only one waving goodbye to him. When she returns to the living room to watch TV, Anne accuses her of wanting her parents to get divorced so that she can go back to the USA. The scene then shifts back to the school where the test scores are being distributed. Fen gets 52 out of 100, the lowest score in the class. When she does not stand up after the teacher calls her, she is asked to come to the front and accept the punishment. The strict math teacher hits her several times with a long stick. After school, Fen goes to an internet cafe where she pays to use a computer for an hour and spends her time searching local horse riding places. Later, she messages her best friend Jessie, leaving her phone number in the message. Late at night, Fen can be seen sitting beside the telephone waiting for her friend to call her, but she never does. In the next scene, Lily is attending a parents' meeting at Fen's school when she is approached by Ting's mother. Lily thanks her for letting Ting befriend Fen, but Ting's mother tells her that she doesn't want them to be friends anymore, pointing out Fen's grades and her visits to internet cafes. Hearing this, Lily gets enraged and storms out of the meeting room, but not before telling everyone that bad grades do not define a student's character. We then learn that Fen has started visiting internet cafes regularly, and this time, she writes a blog with the title, "I Hate You, Mom." The following day, Miss Sue finds out about Fen's blog and mentions that she actually liked it. She suggests Fen prepare for the year's public speaking competition and speak her words. Back at home, while cleaning the house, Lily accidentally opens Fen's notebooks and notices the sketches of horses. She then feels that she actually kept her children away from the life they were used to in the USA and decides to take them out for a treat. Later, she takes her daughters to a fancy restaurant and tells them to order whatever they want like they used to in the USA. Both the daughters enjoy their time there. Afterwards, Huai returns home from China. Before stepping inside, Lily sanitizes him all over as the SARS virus is spreading rapidly. Fen and Anne are happy to see their father. At night, Fen dyes Huai's hair for the first time. The whole family can be seen together and happy. They make fun of Huai's hair color and laugh their hearts out. Later at night, Lily asks Huai to promise her that he will take care of the children after her death. Huai tells her that she should be optimistic rather than continuously thinking about her death, but she does not listen. The next morning, Huai takes Fen to school where she asks him to consider sending her back to the USA if she wins the speech competition. Inside the school, Ting helps her memorize the speech in Mandarin. Ting also asks her why she has written these harsh words about her mother. Fen replies that she thinks her mother can do way better than she is doing at present. The scene then shifts back to the home where Huai is preparing for his next trip to China. Lily approaches him and informs him that Anne has been sick for 3 days and also has a fever. She suspects that Anne has caught the SARS virus and suggests visiting a doctor. Upon hearing this, Huai says she is just suffering from a cold and they should be treating her with some medicines, because going to the hospital in such a condition is very dangerous. The next day, despite Juan suggesting she not take Anne to the hospital, Lily takes her, where a large number of people are in queue waiting for their turn. Lily is asked to fill out a form, have Anne swab checked, and wait for the report to arrive. After some time, the report arrives, and Lily is shocked to find out that Anne has pneumonia, which is one of the symptoms of SARS. The doctor suggests that Anne be kept in quarantine until she recovers. Lily immediately calls Huai, who is about to go for his trip to China. At first, he gets angry at Lily for taking Anne to the hospital, but later, he asks her to return home, as she is not in the best health to wait for Anne. Back at school, Fen is called to Miss Sue's office and asked to prepare for her speech. Happy, Fen returns home, only to find out that her little sister is in the hospital and she needs to be quarantined. When Lily is about to call Fen's teacher asking to grant sick leave, Fen tells her about the public speaking competition, which is scheduled the next day. Lily suggests that she should prioritize her health first, but Fen doesn't listen and pulls the phone away from Lily. Enraged, Lily storms inside Fen's room and starts ripping her photos and posters. Seeing this, Fen pushes Lily and the two start fighting. Right then, Huai arrives and separates the two. Hearing Fen spit out some really mean words to her mother, Huai beats her with a stick, telling her to speak respectfully to her mother. Lily feels sorry after seeing Fen crying in the corner. Soon, Fen walks out of the house without saying anything to her mother. In the next scene, Fen travels on a bus to a horse stable. She seems happy looking at the horses and approaches one of the white ones kept alone. She caresses its back and hugs it. Later, she wants to take it for a ride and starts putting on the horse riding gear. While she is trying to put the straps on the horse, it moves around, not allowing her to do so. Seeing this, Fen starts crying, telling herself that horse riding is the only thing that makes her feel complete. After that, we see Fen being taken home by a female police officer. At home, Lily is very stressed about her youngest daughter Anne, who is still in quarantine. Whenever the phone rings, she hurriedly picks it up, thinking it is about Anne. Fen notices Lily crying when she is taking down the dry clothes. Later, Huai also confronts her, telling her that he has read her speech and will do whatever it takes to send her back to the USA. The next day, a call finally comes from the hospital notifying them of Anne's improving health and that she does not have SARS. Lily is extremely relieved to hear it, and Huai rushes to bring Anne back home. On his way down, Huai sits on the stairs and starts crying about being able to bring his little daughter home. After some time, Fen asks her mother to clean her ear. While Lily is at it, Fen asks her if she remembers her desires. Lily replies that she only remembers Fen's desire to be a horse. Shortly after, Fen gets emotional and asks her mother not to die. Hearing this, Lily's eyes fill up with tears, and she tells her that she loves her very much. In the last scene, Fen can be seen waiting for her little sister to arrive home, and when she arrives with Huai, she rushes downstairs to help her father.